Now it's time to grow the digital literacy of family carers. These videos are brought to you by a partnership between Seniors Information Service and Carers SA. Seniors Information Service and Carers SA acknowledges and respects the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their continuing connection to land, sea and community. We recognise the diversity of Aboriginal people and the importance of land, culture and heritage to the elders and their communities. Seniors Information Service and Carers SA desires to walk together with the Aboriginal community in parallel on a two-ways journey of cultural and knowledge exchange.
Hi, welcome to Carers SA's Digital Literacy Project. I'm Rosemary Warmington, CEO of Carers SA. Carers SA is delighted to have teamed up with Seniors Information Service to deliver this series of workshops for you on videos so that you can better understand the internet and digital devices. Digital literacy is important for us all, now and into the future. It's particularly important for family carers who must find information, support, advice online and also to connect with others. We know that you'll find this series of workshops helpful to you in learning new skills and ideas. Whether you be new to this or whether you be experienced, or whether you just want to find out how to use that tablet that you've just bought, I'm sure you'll enjoy these workshops. We thank the Australian Government Department of Social Services for the funding to assist us with this project. And we hope you have fun. I hope you have fun and enjoy.
Welcome to our four-part series on digital literacy. My name is Jenny Hughes and I'm the Chief Executive of Seniors Information Service, and we're really pleased to put this four-part series together in partnership with Carers SA and funding from the Australian Government Department of Social Services. In this four-part series we will be looking at showcasing digital literacy and how to use various pieces of equipment, how to use an iPad or an Android, and also looking at internet security and how to make yourself feel safe and comfortable. We hope you find this video series useful and informative.
Now it's time to get to know those Android basics with Bill.
With the tablets, you will find that the tablets will come in all different shapes and sizes and manufacturers. With the manufacturers, they will change the way in which Google, the Android, Google own Android, and that's the operating system for it, no different than like we have with Windows. You know, Windows is a Microsoft product, all right? So Android is a Google product. With the tablet itself, because they change in different sizes and the manufacturers will twist and change things within there, they'll work just slightly differently. But where you start and where you end up in the end result will be the same. Sometimes it's how the functionality to get there in the middle will be slightly different for that. Looking at some of the features with regards to the tablet, obviously there's going to be a power button there somewhere. So the power button basically will turn your tablet on. So to turn the tablet on, it's going to be the power button, which generally is in the top left-hand corner of the tablet, and it's a tap and hold. So it's a press and hold, and it's a terminology I'm going to use frequently. All right. Tap and hold or press and hold. So you hold that roughly for about 2 to 3 seconds for it to turn on. You'll start to see something appear on your screen, and when it does, of course, it's then starting to boot up, and you can take your finger off of the power button for that and let it go through the cycle. It'll take 3 or 4 minutes or so to boot itself up. But not only will the power button turn your tablet on and off, but also if you don't use your tablet or touch the touch screen for a period of time, you will find that it will go to sleep. And the idea of that being there is a battery. inside in on your tablet, and you would need to charge up your battery for it to work. And you'll get a different lifespan out of the battery in there depending on the make and the model of your tablet. What we'll do is the backlight, so there is a backlight, and that's the light that sits in the back of the tablet. So when you light it up, there's a light there that lights up, and there's a backlight, and that uses the bulk of your battery. Right? That's very heavy on battery usage. So the idea being, if you don't touch or use your tablet for a period of time, it'll go to sleep. And the idea of that being, of course, is to save the battery, so you don't have to recharge the battery as frequently. With the tablet, and it goes to sleep, what you can do is by the power button, you can come through and just touch the power button, give it a tap, and it'll wake it up. You then would go to a swipe. Now on my model, I've got to go from a locked padlock to an unlocked padlock to open it up. Apart from a swipe, you could have security features in there. You could put a PIN number, a password, a pattern, fingerprint. There's a whole range of things that you could use, but generally most people just would do a swipe across the screen, which is really no security in the true sense. The thing is, if you put a password or a PIN number in as part of to unlock your tablet, you will find that basically every time it goes to sleep, you've got to wake it up. And that sleep timeout period, you can set that, you can adjust that, depending on your make and model. That'll vary between somewhere 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, 10, 30 minutes. Some of them actually have it where it never will go to sleep at all, and you've got that option. So you would choose the option of how long you want it to be that suits you and it's comfortable for you. With the tablets, you will find that there's going to be a microphone on there. We know that there's cameras in on our tablets, and over here we have a camera that's in the front, and most tablets will also have a camera in the back. If you were to take a video as an example, you could take a video of something going on, well, the microphone is going to pick up the voice that it hears. So if you talk while you're videoing, it's going to pick that up and include it into the video. So that's where the microphone comes in. You can also, with a tablet, you can set up, download and install Skype. And a lot of people do that. And they might want to Skype their neighbour next door, or a family member the other side of town, or even somebody overseas. You could have family in Europe or America, England, whatever. So you can do all that, and you can talk to them, and you have a video conference. So you would talk to them and you can see it. You get a picture and you can see them, and you would set it up and you can see yourself on it as well. So it's using the microphone of that to be able to pick up the voice about it, so they can hear you and you can hear them at their end with their microphone. A light sensor, there will be a light sensor placed in on your tablet. With the light sensor, you will find the idea of that being is that will adjust the brightness, automatically adjust the brightness to what is the light environment that you're sitting in. So if you're sitting in an environment like this, where we are at the moment, where it's quite bright, it just dials down the brightness a little bit, because it doesn't need to make it that bright, and vice versa. All right, so with the tablet, you can have it as an automatic setting. So with the automatic setting on there, it will automatically adjust the brightness according to the light that's in your environment that you're currently at. Okay. But you can also, you can have the brightness, you can manually adjust the brightness as well. And that's what I do with mine, because I find that from the automatic setting, and if we have a look at, and you have a range of automatic setting, and this is the highest point, with the automatic setting and you change it manually, you can bring it down to a point where you're happy and satisfied with, and bring it to there, and you could save roughly about 1/3 of battery usage, because you've brought the slider back a little bit. So I'm all for not having to charge the batteries on my tablet any more than I have to. When it's sleeping, battery usage, as I said, normally would be roughly about that. When it goes to sleep, it's using about that much. It's minimal. It's next to nothing. You hardly even know it's used. You could have it in sleep mode, and you could leave it for a week and find that the battery is only deteriorated a little bit down. So the longer you leave it, the more it would use. But if you've got it that it's continually going off to the internet, and it's got access to the internet, if it's doing that, then it's going to deplete the battery a lot far quicker. Cameras we've talked about, so there's a camera in the front and there's also a camera in the back which you can use. So with the volume control, if I come through and show you on mine, the volume control, if I touch my volume control, you can see that it's actually come up with the graphics in on there. So it gives you an indication of your volume. Now I can adjust that volume by tapping in on the volume control. Now you'll find the volume control, it's a rocker switch. All right, so because of its length, one end of it will turn the volume up, the other end will turn the volume down. It's a rocker switch, so it rocks. If you have a look here, you'll see that when I put it on, if I press and hold, it turns it up or turns it down. Or I can press it one at a time, all right, and it will slowly adjust the volume down. If you have the audible tone on, as we have here, each time you stop it, it'll come and give you an audible tone at that level, at that setting that you've got it. Not only can you do it manually by pressing a button and you get it come up, but if you put your finger on the blue dot at the end, you then can go through and keep your finger on the screen and slide it up and down. You can make an adjustment on the volume control with that to where you want it to appear. Now that is a principle that I want to get through to you, because where we have that and you tap and hold and slide to make an adjustment for brightness, you set it up, your brightness of your screen on a manual setting, right, then you would need to do that because there is no manual control for brightness. And there are other command functionalities that use the same principle through there as well, that you would bring it up, tap and hold and slide to adjust whatever the setting is for it. And so there's several of those throughout your tablet with regards to that. We have a look at the next one. On my particular tablet, I have a HDMI port that's available. Now some of you may or may not have that. If you don't have a HDMI port, then generally at the bottom on the docking port, down near the bottom where you plug it in, you can plug in what's referred to as an adapter. So you can purchase an additional adapter to do that. So that would be a matter of plugging that into your tablet and where the docking port or the charge point would be. And at the other end is your adapter, to which you would have a HDMI adapter on there. So you would purchase then, that's an additional purchase. You would purchase a HDMI cable, you would plug it into your particular adapter cable, or you put it into a dedicated port as I've got, and you could then plug that into your TV. And when it's plugged into your TV, any photographs that you've taken or videos that you've taken or movies that you've downloaded, you can play them from your tablet onto the TV, which has got a lot larger screen. If most TVs these days all have Wi-Fi, if you go and buy a brand new modern TV, it will have Wi-Fi available on them already. So you could download a movie if you wanted to onto your tablet, and you could play it and Wi-Fi connect to the TV and display it in onto the TV. Or a video you've taken, or a photograph that you've taken. That's without using a physical connection between the two. It's modern technology coming into play with that. All right, the next one I want to talk about is going to be the SD card. So with the SD card, that is basically, it's no different than a storage device. So we have a USB stick here, which we know that you can plug into a laptop or a desktop computer, and you can put files and store files onto it, or vice versa. In other words, it's a portable storage device. Well, an SD card out of a camera, which where all the photographs are stored on a camera, is no different. All right, so that is exactly the same as your USB stick. All right, it's a storage device. Out of the camera, you can store photographs, will all be stored into there. Well, on the tablet, it has an SD card functionality as well. And there's the SD card for the tablet. All right, so it's a lot smaller and thinner, and that's technology. So with the SD card, basically the SD card, you get them, they come in different sizes. So with an SD card, if I was to go through and purchase one, I can purchase one which is an 8 gigabyte nowadays, which is the smallest type of SD card that you're getting. All right, but they'll then go up, they double in size. So I go from an 8 gigabyte, I go up to 16, 32, 64, 128, all right, in gigabytes of storage capacity to which you can handle. What you need to be careful is that you buy the maximum size. Your tablet could only handle up to a certain size. And some of them are 64 gigabytes is the maximum size. To go to 128, you have to have a real recent one, which is the more modern type tablets will handle up to 128. But if you get the wrong size, you put it in there, it won't accept it, it won't recognise it. You can store quite a bit of store quite a bit of information on a SD card. For 1 gigabyte, you can hold up to 2 standard movies. Now we know a movie roughly would be about an hour and a half. If it's longer, then it's going to take up a bit more room, so forth. If it's standard, it's not high definition. It doesn't have the high degree of audio and picture quality in it. So it will hold 2 standard movies. So that's quite a bit of storage that you could put in onto an 8 gigabyte, which is the smaller size. SIM card. So let me explain with the SIM card. So it's no different than a SIM card basically on your mobile phone. So you can purchase a tablet that has a SIM card functionality available with it, but there's going to be an additional cost for it. You're going to pay $100 plus extra to have that functionality available, which means then that you're able to get, if you're within mobile phone, telephone technology, you'll be able to get the internet directly straight onto your tablet, because it's got a mobile phone SIM card in it. You can purchase technology, basically you can get a Wi-Fi broadband manual. You've seen them being advertised. You can pick them up for roughly about $25 nowadays, and that's no different. It's got a SIM card in there and a supplier, and you would pay for that. You pay $25 basically round about on mobile broadband pocket rocket or dongle or whatever you want to call them, and that's no different than basically as your mobile phone. But the way around it, of course, is rather than purchase and buy that for when you're doing travelling and you want to be able to get access to the internet, you could have a plan in on your mobile phone, and the plan on your mobile phone, you can tether, you can tie or link the two together, so you can use Wi-Fi on your tablet to link with your mobile phone Wi-Fi. The mobile phone then goes off to the mobile tower to pick up the internet and brings it back wirelessly onto your mobile phone and then onto your tablet, and therefore you've then got a dongle, if you like. But with this one, I can make a telephone call and receive text messages and take photographs and do a whole range of things with it. The thing is, if you get a dongle, you're now going to get an extra telephone bill for that. You're going to pay for that. Well, you're already getting one bill for this. You don't need to have an extra one. Also, there's a functionality that's available on your tablet where you can have a headphone or microphone jack or plug in on there. If you've got an earbuds, which you utilise from your mobile phone to listen to music or whatever the case may be, you can unplug that and plug that straight into your tablet and listen to and watch a movie, as an example. All right, or you can play games and hear the audio without disturbing anybody else. You can also have it where you've got a headphone set and a microphone, and you could actually Skype somebody. You could Skyping somebody from overseas or wherever, and you can hear them and you can talk to them, they can hear you directly, rather than using the microphone in on the tablet, which is picking up the TV with your partners watching in the same room, because the microphone is very sensitive. So that's just another way around, and that's an additional purchase, of course, to get the headphone. And if you get one with a microphone, most people would have the earbuds where you can hear, but you wouldn't be able to speak. As soon as you plug it in, it cuts out the microphone and the speakers. Touchscreen, we're all familiar with the touchscreen. So basically, as you touch things, if I was to go through and touch an application, it opens it up and makes it available, right, to be able to utilise. I also can go through, and if I touch an icon, I tap and hold. I've held it now. I can move it around in on the screen. So can you see that where I place this, if I place that in that position, you're watching me? If I place it in a position, you watch it move. Do you see it move down? There's invisible and horizontal grid in there, so only put one on each location. If you start to put two on top of one another, you'll create a folder. On the new modern tablets, it will automatically create its own folder, and that may be not what you want, but you've got to then separate them to be able to get them apart again. If I do a tap and hold, you can see at the top there I've got an X remove. I can move that up into there, see that's gone red? All right, if I take my finger off of that at that point when it's red, all right, it's going to disappear. Of course, I'm not going to do that, but that is just purely as a shortcut. And the docking port, of course, is the last one, which is where you would charge your tablet from, and you connect to the PowerPoint, of course. All right, so exercise time. Because we have all these different models and how they will work differently, right, so let's go through and take a little bit of the theory that we've learned and now put it into practice by actually doing it, so you get to learn how it works on your particular tablet. So, turning your tablet on and off. I think you'd be familiar with how to turn your tablet on and off. If you do so, then don't worry about doing that. Sleep mode. If you want to put your tablet into sleep mode, remember it's just a touch of the power button, give it a tap, and it puts it to sleep. You want to wake it up, it's just come through, touch the power button again, wakes it up, and then unlock it by doing a slide or a swipe. Volume key, have a look at your volume key and make an adjustment both manually and also by placing your finger on the end of the scale of the volume control and moving it up and down by using the touch format. Have a look for your SD card slot location and the docking port to where it's docked and located. What we're trying to do is to be able to charge the tablet. So to charge the tablet, when we would go through, and if you've got an Android, you will find that you'll have a USB plug at the end of it. You know that you could plug in your cable to the tablet, and the USB plug you could plug into a laptop or a desktop computer, and you can swap files between the other. What we would do here in this particular case is we go through and we would plug in the USB into the transformer, into the power pack. All right, by plugging that in. Obviously with the PowerPoint switched off, we'd plug the transformer into the PowerPoint. The last thing that we do is we go through and we plug the cable that goes into the tablet. That's just important from the point that if you're travelling or going overseas or whatever, you could end up damaging your particular device because power spikes or surges and whatever, and the overseas the electricity is not as good as what the standard is here in Australia. So getting to the bottom line of it, it's the last thing you plug in before you actually switch your PowerPoint on. So once you switch your PowerPoint on, then it will start to charge up, and we'll know that it's charging because it'll come through and give you a symbol. It'll be an electric symbol or a battery symbol or something to give you an indication that it's charging. So once it's charged up, of course, then it's just a matter then of leaving it and turning it off. And the first thing you do as a reverse would be unplug the cable away from the tablet. The important thing is just to read the manual, because each of the manuals will have their own little version of it, but in principle, the cable to connect to your tablet is the last thing you connect when you're charging. When it's finished charging and the PowerPoint is off, then the cable of the tablet is the first thing you disconnect. Home screen. So looking at your home screens, basically there's a few features on there that we'll need to look at. And with the features, you'll find that generally in the top right hand corner, you'll find that there is going to be a notifications and settings area. With the notifications and settings, at the top you'll find there'll be the time, Wi-Fi battery signal strength indicator, and a battery indicator to show you how much battery you still got remaining in to be able to use. And you might have it set that you can, on your particular tablet, you could have it set that there's a percentage sign right next alongside the battery, and that will tell you the percentage of how much battery is remaining in there. Also, you'll find that on your particular tablet there will be, like I've got weather shown on mine, which came with my particular tablet, and with the weather one, because I've set it up for Adelaide, and it will tell you what the weather is here for Adelaide. But you could set it up for your suburb if you wanted to, and all it will do is go to the nearest Bureau of Meteorology outlet to obtain that information over the internet and give you the update. So it could give you the temperature of what it is at the moment, what the outlook's likely to be, sunny, and the wind direction and speed and humidity, etc., depending on the widget and what information is in there. The widget, let me explain that we have here, we have applications And these are application shortcuts. So that's no different than like on a Microsoft Windows program, where generally on the left-hand side of our screen, going up and down, we would have an application which you would single or double click to activate. Well, and then it goes to the hard drive to get the application to present it to you on screen. Well, it's no different when in a tablet. They have shortcuts as well, which generally they're located in on your home screen somewhere. With the home screen that you'll go through, and you would select it from your tablet, and it'll open it up and give you the command functionality to be able to do for whatever is the application that you've selected. With an application, that you'll find that the programming language on an application is going to be quite large and big, but on a widget, and it's just a different terminology, but it's just got a little bit of programming language for a widget, because all it's got to do is go and get what is at the location, what is the current temperature, what is the wind speed, humidity and direction of the wind. So it does a little bit of reading, so they call it a widget. And you will see that when we get later on, when we come through and do our application menu, which is when you select that, you'll see an option for widgets, and you think, hang on, what's the word widgets? What does that mean? So hopefully I've explained that to you. Also on your screen, because we have on our tablets, you may have somewhere between one home screen panel, and you could have up to 9 home screen panels. With 9 home screen panels on mine, I go to my original one, that's my original home screen, but I can also go through and go to another home screen panel just by swiping across the screen. I can go to another one. I can't go any further, it won't allow it on my particular tablet, but on some of the Samsung models you can just keep going. And what it does, just keeps going around in a circle, right, of all the home screen panels that you want. And if I want to get back to my home screen, obviously then I'll just come through and I would tap in on my home screen icon. But the point I'm trying to make here, somewhere on your screen you will see that there's an indication of which of the home screen panels you're currently located on. So with mine, you can see that mine are down near the bottom. The idea of that just is so with all the home screen panels that you've got, you say, oh, hang on, where in the heck am I? You can get lost. So that's an indicator, gives you an indication of actually where you're located. To get to your particular home screen, if you're not on your home screen, to get there, you can go through, and on mine, I've actually got a home screen icon to which I can select. If you've got a Samsung, you can find that you'll have one that's got a button. And so that button becomes your home screen. So just by pressing in on your home screen button, that'll take you back to your home screen. Also on there, you've got, on the Samsung, you've got a return to previous screen, which is a bent arrow. So the return to previous screen is the same here, but just notice it's in a different location on mine, and the same thing can appear on some of the Samsung models as well. They shift them around, they change them around. What that will do basically, that when you're on a home screen, I go on the internet, which is the best way to explain this to you. So if I was to go to Seniors Information Services home screen, and then there's a link on there which would be health and wellbeing, so I can go to that link. I would then go to another page, right, on that link. From there I can go to another page. So I've gone to 2 pages away from the actual SIS home screen, and the way to get back to that previous screen will be to hit that button, or this one over the same icon. If I now go and hit that, I've now come back 1 page. I could hit it again and come to another page. But the thing, if I'm 2 or 3 pages in, the thing that I don't want to do is to go return to previous page, return to previous page, return to previous page, keep going to get to the home page, or get off the internet and go to the home page to do something else. What you would do, of course, is to come through and hit your home screen button, or the home screen icon, all right, whichever one is the one that you've got for your particular device. But doing that then takes you all the way back through to your home page. And on some of the later models of the Samsungs, it won't take you whatever page you were on prior to getting on the internet, it'll take you back to that page. If you want to get your home page, you depress it again. That then takes you definitely back in onto what's classed as or designated as the home page for that device. Another one here which is called recent applications, which looks like two files sitting behind one another. So with recent applications, effectively what you're doing, we're going to look at that in more detail as we come to the end. Because that's not really all that, and it doesn't have a lot of information in there, or it may not be overly important to you. So we won't concentrate on that, we'll leave it right to the very end. On some of your models, and we've got one over here, where if you want to pick up an icon, so tap and hold, if I want to pick up an icon and move it around in on the screen or whatever, as soon as I take my finger off it, it'll jump back to where it was, because it says that you're not allowed to do that until you hit the edit command functionality. Well, on some of the tablets you will find there'll be what looks like a pencil tip. At the end of the pencil tip, you will find that you need to hit that first before you can change an application and move its location. Or you might have where it looks like two lines that's capped under the menu option, and you click on that and your drop-down options will appear, and one of those will be edit. So the way to know is firstly to pick up an icon, an application, so tap and hold and move it, let it go, and if it bounces back, then you've got to go into the edit command to be able to do it. If it doesn't and it moves it, then there's no worries, you don't have to worry about it. So it's just because with Samsung they keep changing the way they do things, so we try and cover all the bases there. Exercise. So let's now just go through and have a look at your home screen panels and just go through and place your finger and flick through some of the panels. And then when you're not on the actual home screen itself, then just select your home screen icon or press the home screen button to get you back to the original one. We talked before about notifications and settings area, which is in the top right hand corner of your screen. With that, there are two types. On mine, I have off of my tablet is at the top, and then the bottom one is which is what you have for your Samsung models. And this is the main one I'm going to talk about at the moment. But I'd like to just show you how do we get to that area. There, on the tablet itself, I have a black bezel, or a border if you like, around the tablet. You've got a white one and you have a black one. If I was to place my finger half on the black border and half on the touch screen, place it on half and drag down, I drag down a window. So with that now, what you have here at the bottom is their buttons to enable or disable a particular functionality. The first one, which is Wi-Fi, that you can go through and you can turn it on or turn it off. So you either enable it or disable it. We can see that where I have Bluetooth and my Bluetooth is not highlighted, it's not glowing, it's not active, so therefore it's been switched off. And I've got other ones, the sound, which is on, and so forth through there. If you've got more than what can be viewed on your screen, you can put your finger in on those and slide it across, and you will get more of them. Also have a look on that particular screen, have a look in the very top right hand corner of that window, and you will see that there's three little squares, and the bottom right hand corner square has got two arrows going in opposite direction. If you tap on that, you will find that every application enabling button will come on. The other icon that's there on that window, which looks like a rear bicycle cog, effectively is the settings area. And we'll look at that and use that a little later. So it's a quick set, what's classed as quick set icons, to which you can turn on or off functionality that's available there on your tablet. So sometimes it's a quick way to be able to get access to, let's say, the internet, and you want to go Wi-Fi, and you turn it off or turn it on, whatever the case may be for it. Now that's only good providing that you've connected to that Wi-Fi network previously before. If you haven't connected to it before, then it doesn't know about it. If you go to a brand new Wi-Fi network, which has got a password on there, It doesn't know about it, so therefore it can't connect itself. But once you've connected, it remembers where you've been, and if it's familiar with it, you can connect, turn your Wi-Fi back on, and it says, oh, hello, you're now in the library. I'll connect you to the library. Or I'm now at Seniors Information Services, I'll now connect you to Senior Information Services Wi-Fi network. Underneath where you've got your quick set icons, underneath you'll find that there's a notifications area. And with the notifications, you will find that could be something telling you, giving some notification about something. Basically, with this one here that I'm showing as an example, I downloaded a Samsung Flat Fire map, and it's come back and showed that the download is complete. So it's notifying, or if you like, it's telling me that I've done this and it's now completed. The download is complete. But it might be also saying to you that there's a new Android upgrade version that's available. Do you want to upgrade or update that and install it? Or it might be if you're getting emails in on your tablet, you'll come back and say whatever the number of emails are now available to be read. It's informing you, it's telling you about something. Notice that there's a little arrow with a line in underneath it, which is a symbol. There's a symbol, would be a symbol against each one of the notifications on there, and those symbols will appear up in the top left-hand corner of your screen. If I was to go and tap on one of those, it will open up and fill up the whole of the screen on my tablet to tell me about it. Once I've done that, as soon as I've done that, basically what it will do, it'll remove that from the notification list, and it will remove the equivalent symbol to it away from the top. You have an option where you can go through, and once you've looked and viewed at all of the notifications, and so I don't need to deal with them, I'm interested, I'm happy, I can go through and do an X and remove all of them, clear them all out. It could be called clear or remove all. It's got different names for it depending on which make and model of tablet that you've got. Once you click on that, then they all disappear, and all of the symbols across the top disappear. We saw earlier in Quickset where we had aeroplane mode or flight mode. On a Samsung, it's called flight mode. With flight mode, which looks like a little aeroplane basically, what does flight mode do? We know that when we went through, we would go onto an aeroplane, you get to the departure lounge before you get onto the aeroplane, and you get a PA call that used to come out and say, would all passengers please ensure that all electronic devices are turned off? Well, we know now that that's not the case. What can happen now is you get to departure lounge, a PA call will come out and say, will all passengers please ensure that all electronic devices are put into flight mode. What does flight mode do? Well, we know that we have Wi-Fi is available on our tablets. We know that Bluetooth is available on our tablets. And some of us might have a SIM card installed in onto our tablets if it's got that functionality. So there's three ways in which wireless communication can be from your tablet itself. When you go into flight mode, what it does is it shuts all of those wireless communications down. And so therefore your tablet just purely becomes a standalone device. You could watch a movie on there, or you could play a game, or you could listen to music or whatever. The thing is, if when you want to use those functionalities in on the plane, you have to have them loaded in onto your tablet before you get on the plane. And I've actually done this. I've got on a plane. Before I've got on, I've made sure that all my devices, and that includes a mobile phone, are all put into flight mode. I can then sit down, we're buckled up and so forth, and I can go and watch a movie or play a game, and I can use my own, and listen to music or use my own in-flight entertainment with that. And all I do is just use the headphones, plug in the headphones with the earbuds in my ear, and I can listen to music or watch a movie or whatever the case may be. And so that can be used through takeoff, flight and landings. If you have a laptop, of course, you can't have the laptop. It must be placed in the seat in front of your overhead locker during takeoff and landings. But you can use the laptop during flight, providing that it is in flight mode. That way it doesn't affect with electronics of the plane. Alright, so let's put it into flight mode. So we know the quickest way to put it into flight mode is to drag down your quick set options. Alright, drag it down, select your aeroplane, and when you select it, you may or may not get a confirmation screen that comes up that says you're going to enable flight mode, and you accept yes. Remember on Android, where you get the word OK, OK translates into the word for us is yes. So OK is equal to yes, so you say yes, I want to enable flight mode. When you do that and you've put it into aeroplane mode, flight mode, you will find that up in the top right hand corner of the notification settings area of your particular tablet you'll find the little aeroplane symbol. So once you're in flight mode, then no external communications from the device is able to happen. Obviously, when you want to take it out, of course, it's just the same thing again. You drag down to your quick set, come through to your aeroplane mode, tap on it again, it disables it. And you may have a disabled confirmation screen come up. You just say OK, yes, or enable, or whatever the choice it gives you with regards to that. You then will see that the little aeroplane symbol will disappear from your notifications area. Talk about hand gestures with regards to a tablet. Tap, we saw earlier that if you go through with an application shortcut and I go and tap on an application, you activate it. You make it work, it's available then to be used. Double tap, the best way to describe that to you is to go through and show it on a photograph. But you could be on the internet, on an internet page, and you can do the same thing. If I do a double tap, it's enlarged on there. If I do a drag, so if I do a tap and hold and I can then drag that photograph around. A flick, we all know with a flick is the same as a swipe. You flick across the screen or you swipe across the screen to unlock it. Other one is a pinch and spread. With forefinger and thumb, if we put our forefinger and thumb together on the screen at the same time and then pinch them together, I can now adjust and I have control over the size of that particular photograph. But I also can go through and I can drag by keeping both fingers on there. So I can drag and move and adjust and get that, so I've got Nemo that takes up the whole of the screen. And that comes in particularly in handy when you want to go through, and let's say that if you were to take a photograph, a group photograph on a holiday, and there's a couple that you became friendly with or a person or whatever the case may be, and you wanted to cut them out, you could enlarge in on that, and that particular person would take a head and shoulder portrait shot of them, and you could take a screen dump of that or a screenshot and get it printed out as a hard copy, whether you use your own printer or you go to a photo machine and do it. And a tap and hold, if we do a tap and hold like I've done before, you tap, hold it, but I can also do a drag function as well. So that's the hand gestures to activate Wi-Fi. So to activate Wi-Fi, then the best way to do that, of course, is to go to your notifications and settings area, drag down from the top, and you've got your little icon which is going to appear, which looks like a rear bicycle cog. You tap on that, then takes you to the settings area. When you get to the settings area, of course, the very top one is going to be the Wi-Fi. And if we're to, you check to make sure that that's switched on. Once you've selected that, then you will find that there will be a list of all the available Wi-Fi networks to which your tablet can find. So imagine this. With a Wi-Fi network, as we have the one in the corner, it's sending out a circumference of network from that particular device, and we have our tablet which does a scan, and that will scan a certain distance of area as well. Where the two overlap, they'll see each network. And so once you get to there, you will find that you'll have a list then of all the networks that are available. If it's not in range, obviously the scanning area, it's out of reach, they can't see one another. So it'll say not in range. But ones that don't have the not in range, you'll get a signal strength indicator of how strong the signal is. The one that sits, of course, all 4 bars are all full solid because it's just over there in the corner. And if it's got a padlock to it means that there is a password required to get access to it. Once you connect it to a network at one stage, you might have Wi-Fi at home. Well, it says it's not in range at the moment, but as soon as you go home, it'll automatically connect to it and you don't have to put the password in again. Because once you put it in once, it'll remember it unless the password gets changed. And that's the exercise to do that. Application menu. All right. So on mine, remember there was a little icon I have which has got 6 dots. So basically with that, if you were to tap on that, then what it will do is it will take you through to the application menu. With the application menu, you will see all the applications that are available on your particular tablet. And with that, you'll notice that they will also be in alphabetical listing. If they're not, then you can make them placed into alphabetical listing, which makes things a lot easier to find. Whenever you download something, then you can come through and basically it will put it in. So if I had the ABC Shop download application on there, that would go in between in there. All right, and so that means all of the applications now will shunt along one until the last one, of course, gets shunted in onto the next page. And it will just then shunt all of them along one by one. So it'll place them in alphabetical listing, which makes them a lot easier to find. With that, can you see that there on some of the models of your tablets, you'll find there's the word widget. You could click on that, but that will just give you all that, like you can have all the different types of clocks and weather forms and calendars, and there's a whole range of things, and you can just flick through all of them and have a look to see if any of them take you interest. If they do, all you do is do a tap and a hold. So let me just show you as an example that if I was to go to Skype here as an example, and I want my application of Skype to actually go through onto the home page, then what I will do is I'm doing a tap and hold like we saw with hand gestures before. So I do a finger, tap and hold. It's now jumped from my fingers, jumped to a home screen panel, but it's not the right one, is it? So if I was to move that through, there it goes. It's done a couple of flicks and it's now come onto the home screen. Notice that I can't put that on top of another one. It just won't allow it on my particular model. If you was to come down into the other ones and put it on there, I would end up creating a folder where I would have 2 applications then sitting in a folder. I would now position that to a point to where I'm happy with, and I've taken my finger off and it stayed there. So if I want to delete a particular application away from this that I no longer want, I don't want the shortcut, I can do a tap and hold, come up to X remove, it goes red, take my finger off of it, it's gone, disappeared. But I go to application menu, have a look, it's still there. So I'll do the same thing again, tap and hold, it bounces through to the actual home screen panel. But now have a look at the top of my screen, it's got uninstall. If I was to move that up and uninstall, it goes red. If I was to take my finger off it, it would then uninstall it from my tablet, never to be seen again. Until I go to Play Store, which is the online store, effectively, to be able to download applications. Most of them are free. There's over 1.6 million applications are available now that you can get from Play Store, which is the Google online store, or the Android online store, if you like. And you can download the application and put them in onto your particular tablet if you want to. So that's how you would delete a shortcut and how you remove entirely a shortcut. Now with Android, if there's one way to achieve a function, you can guarantee there'll be two ways, and sometimes there's three ways to achieve the same end result. So I can go deep into the settings of this and find applications, find the one, and I do an uninstall directly, which would delete the shortcut and uninstall the application all in one foul swoop. But that way I've explained it to you, first off, is the most simplest way that a lot of people, is the way they do it. So I just want to keep the one version to you rather than give you all too many versions and confuse you. So if I was to come through and I was to select my internet, yours is called an internet, mine is called a browser, but it's a picture of the world, if you like, or a globe. If I was to go through and select that, then what that would do is take me then through to a browser window. Now there is two windows here, segregated by the blue line. The first one at the top is the browser window. On a browser window, if I was to go and tap into that field at the top, it allows me to type in the web address or the URL of where I want to go. I would then type in just the word Google as an example, and once I've put Google in, it would then give drop-down options of google.com, google.com.au, Google Plus, Google this, Google that. You select which one you want, you tap on it, and then up comes your Google window. The thing with a Google window that comes up, basically what you get is you'll get purely just a Google window, and you don't get a virtual keyboard. So as I've got here, I've now got my Google windows come up, but where's the keyboard? There's no keyboard to be able to put anything in. And I can tap in on here, and there's no keyboard. Little trick. All right. Whether you're on a browser window or any area which has got a field that is required, so in the field, if I go and tap inside the field, the tablet says, oh, you want to put something in, then I better give you the means to do it. And up comes your virtual keyboard, which then enables you to type in whatever it is that you're searching for. So if I wanted to type in, as an example, Seniors Information Service, if I put the word seniors in, I'd come back with 117 million worth of responses. Generally, the general rule is the more information you put in, the shorter number of responses that will come back. If I typed in Seniors Information Service, right, it's increased to 144, because what it's doing is looking for the word seniors, the word information, the word service across the whole wide world web. But if I put Seniors Information Service Adelaide, South Australia, and restrict it down a little bit, now it's come back to 43. But as a general rule, what happens is if you just type in seniors INFO, it will then come up and give you the options, because the tablet will generally, sometimes if you have your locations, it knows where you are. Or at some stage it's found out where you are, and so it's searching and giving you responses back, and it'll be within the top 3, 4 or 5 options that come back, and just find the one you want and tap in on it. If a website is visited frequently and oftenly, and if the company has paid for, it's another option, so their name comes up near the top of the list. When you're on the internet, up in the top right hand corner, you'll find there's 3 little icons. A star, a magnifying glass, and a bookmark. If you want to go through and create a bookmark, then what you would do is when you've got to the website that you want to visit, and you want to create it as a bookmark or a favourite if you prefer that terminology, you would then go through and select the star. Now what you will find, it could be hard to find the star, but the star will be somewhere near the web address of the particular website. Once you're on the website that you want, by pressing the star, it will then add that as a bookmark or a favourite on your particular device. Once you get there and you tap on, you've created as a bookmark, when you get through and you select the bookmark symbol of the saved bookmarks, it'll then come up with a little picture of the bookmark and the name in underneath of what each of the bookmarks are. And so it's just a matter, if you want to go to a particular site, then it's just a matter of going through and selecting it, tapping on it, and then up comes your page. If you want to delete a bookmark, then it's just a matter of going through and holding that on a particular bookmark. So if I've got one and I don't want it anymore, I do a tap and hold on it, then comes up an option window. With the option window, you then select remove bookmark, delete bookmark, cancel bookmark, or whatever is the terminology that's used on your particular tablet. And then you can select it, and then that deletes that particular bookmark, and you get a confirmation screen confirming it. And so you can do housekeeping and keep your bookmarks all in order. You can also, if you wish, you can create a folder of bookmarks. And so there might be, for argument's sake, if you're into cooking, as an example, you could go and have a folder for recipes like Indian recipes or Chinese recipes or whatever it is that you're into, and you can put all your recipes for Indian food or meals, and you can put them all in underneath that particular folder. So it makes it a lot easier to find, rather than having to go through a whole list of bookmarks to be able to find the one that you want. What we can do is we can go through and actually go to the Seniors Information Services website, and we can select that, and once we get on into there, you could then save it, if you like, as a bookmark. So what we will do is we'll go through and save it as a bookmark, then go somewhere else. We'll then go back and select the saved bookmark, take us back to there, and if you wish, then you can go through and delete it. So we go through the exercise of creating, saving a bookmark, then utilising that saved bookmark, and if we don't want it, then you can go through and delete that bookmark. Recent applications. So with recent applications, the icon which is in on your tablet at the bottom will be like two folders, one sitting behind the other. Mm-hmm. What it will do is any application that you've opened up from the time that you've powered on your device to this present time will be shown. So if I do it on mine, I can see all the applications that I've opened up. And because I've got more applications than what will fit in the width of the screen, I can go through and I can have a look at all of them just by swiping through on my particular style. Now, it will come up and appear in different formats. So you could have a format that could be vertical or horizontal, or some of them you can get with the newer models, you can get them where it's cascading. It looks like a wheel of all phone contacts that you can just scroll through. So if I want an application that I've opened up before, but it hasn't actually been closed down, it's still available, I can go through and I can just tap on it, and it'll open that application up for me. By just going through and I go to the home screen, that's now reduced that application. It's still sitting there, it's dormant in the background. If I want to close an application down, one way of closing it down here from this particular recent applications is I do a tap and a slide. So watch, if I do a tap and go up, it's closed that down. I do a tap and go down the other way, it's closed it down. If you've got the cascading effect version of tablet, then you'll get an X will come up in on the top right hand corner of the screen, and you just tap on that just like you do with Windows. But you're probably now asking yourself, well, hang about, does that mean that every time before I close my device down, do I have to go and delete all these applications? No, you don't. Because when you close your tablet down, so you do a tap and a hold, and once you do a tap and hold on your power button, you're then going to get a window option that comes up, and one of the window options is going to be to power off or close down your particular tablet. What it will do as part of that process, as it does with a laptop or a desktop, it'll close every application down, and it will tidy up the memory and clean and tidy things up and put it back into a pristine state. So can you see there that there is a little hint there as well, that as part of, and it usually always happens when you're on the internet, that if you happen to be on the internet and your tablet gets itself into a pickle and it doesn't do what you want it to do, just go and power it down. Let it close everything down and tidy everything up and get rid of all the memory and everything like that. Power it back on again. The only thing is you've got to get back to that web page that you were before it crashed or became a problem, and you have to start over again. So that brings us to the end. I hope there's been some value out of it, that you've enjoyed it. Thing that I would suggest to you that is you try and use your tablet as often, as frequently as you can, because if you at least 3 hours a week if you can, to try and keep the memory going and using it. The more you use it, the better you'll get at it. Okay, so good luck, all the best with it. Hope you've enjoyed it.
These videos were made possible through a partnership between Carers SA and Seniors Information Service. For more information on these courses, contact Carers SA or Seniors Information Service using the numbers on screen. Plus, we would love to thank all of those volunteers who made this course possible. And you, the viewers at home, thank you for watching.